Okay. All right. We're recording. So anyways, it's 5 after, so we'll get started because I know we all have families and it's late for some of us. But we got to listen, first of all, about starting new coaches with passion, getting engaged in passionate coaches, Micah Folsom, and I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she's, been one of the top coaches, and she was actually a photographer, funny enough, before she became a coach. So a lot of the people I reach out to are friends with her that I tried to friend. But an amazing person, and honestly, her heart was a lot of, it spoke to me about, kind of how we do our team. But the first thing that she talked about was having a team culture. And, I think that starts with having your own mission statement. Who do you want your team to be? Who are they? What do they stand for? What are they going out in the world to do through Beachbody? So I would encourage you, if you don't have a mission statement for your team, to definitely go ahead and think about that and brainstorm and write that out. And we do have one for Live to Give. It was the cover for a while last month, but hold on, I've got pictures of slides here. I'm trying to go off my notes and pictures of slides. I have so much everywhere, but she said, have you created a culture where people want to show up every day? Do people want to come in your team page? Is it positive? Is it good? When someone asks a question, do people pop on and help out? Or does everybody just watch the question go by? It should be a place of community, a place where you feel like you can relate to people, and where that's one of the first places you want to check in on Facebook, because this is your team, this is your group, this is the people you'll travel with, and you will build this business that's going to be something amazing for your family. So she asked that question, so that's something to ask yourself. And are your coaches leaving your team page in a better, more positive state than when they got there? Shayna, I've got to say, I'm sure they are. Hey, Allison, welcome. We're just getting started with about having passionate and engaged coaches. So that was her first slide. So it's something to think about. Team culture is so important. It's, we think of names, we think of fun names, things like that. And that's based off of what we want our culture to be, but there has to be more than just a fun name. There has to be something that makes your team who they are, and that the people on your team can relate to. So the next thing she said is really get to know your coaches, find out their goals, their why, their current life situation, especially if you're getting new coaches started. A lot of times they might be coming into it to make money, or they might need it for something, or they might be coming into it just for accountability for their fitness, or, find out the reason, get to know exactly what their purpose in becoming a coach is. Ask them their reservations and their fears, and try to help them address those from your experience, and also recommend PD that can help them with that. I know that was very interesting to me, because I know a lot when I started, and what I've been taught is when new coaches sign on, recommend Compound Effect, recommend GoPro, those marketing ones. And I think that she was so right. Get them where their mindset is going to be ready to be a coach, because and that was the other thing she mentioned, make sure they know when they come on that this is going to be a journey. It's not going to be, sorry, I'm trying to look at my notes. It takes growth. It takes time, and they're going to have to strengthen their mind. And so us knowing, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and what type of personality they have to kind of help them through with their PD choices. And whenever we meet with them as coaches and one-on-ones. So that was the next thing. Get to know their love language. And I think that's a great one. I always forget that. I just kind of tend to try and give. And not everybody likes the same, response to the same things. Not everybody wants a gift. Someone might want quality time. Someone might want just to get on the phone with you or to get on a Zoom with you. And that's going to make a difference in them, deciding to keep going, because it's hard. This business is hard. We all know we've had ups and downs, and, some of us are newer than others, but there's going to be hard days. And so we have to really understand our coaches and be able to be there for them in the way that they need us to be. Granted, we're not their counselor. We're not their, their sole support. But we are there, especially in the beginning, to truly help them kind of step through these things and feel encouraged, feel uplifted, and get their first victories, and let them see that they can do this. And yeah, pretty much on the same thing, just get to know how you can best support them. And she said, have close contact with your coaches, one-on-one conversations, and investing in their learning process. Support them not only as a coach, but a challenger. So not only asking them when you're following up with them about their how's your coaching going? How's your team? How's your inviting? But ask them how their fitness journey is going. Because guys, that's what our whole business is based on, our fitness journey. If someone's fallen off the wagon and we're just asking them about their inviting, most likely they're not going to be inviting. I think most of us feel if we fall off the wagon, I know for me, I feel like a fraud, and so I'm like, even though I think it's okay for sure. And it's okay to share that. And it's okay to be open and honest with, your followers, with your coaches, with everybody about where you're at. But just make sure you're asking your coaches how they're doing on their health and fitness journey, along with how they're doing with their coaching. And make sure you help them get results and build belief, whether that be in their health and fitness or within their coaching. So it was really interesting. I think I've talked, some of you, Allison knows because she was in there, but for Team Cup, and you guys probably do this similar, but we did a success pod, so like a message thread with our Team Cup. We didn't do another group. I was really feeling like all of our coaches were pretty new, so I didn't want to overwhelm them with new groups. And Micah Folsom was actually saying, and I talked to another top coach, Becca Robinson, that they've actually started doing these as new coach groups. Instead of doing like a training group, they do pods. So if we have in Live to Give, say like 5 new coaches one month, we can put them in a message thread together and their coaches be in there. But what I was doing with the girls was, and we can talk a little more about this. I think we have to figure out, what's best for all of us, and, you of course individually on your team. But it was really encouraging in our group because they were in there together, and I would give them a little, tips, or I would give them an assignment for the day, and they'd go off and do it, and they'd come back and say, I did it, okay. And so everybody'd go love on it, and they'd be, encouraging each other. And, oh my gosh, I talked to someone about Shakeology. I sent out 5 invites, and everybody would get on and cheer them on. And so we're building confidence in our new coaches, and we're building success partners. We're creating relationships within our team, which I think, I've been trying to help people find success partners for so long because they've been so vital to my coaching, and it hasn't always worked very well. So I feel like if we can kind of capitalize on this, I know Micah said she does it, and she kind of puts of course, still sends them a welcome video and email, gives them foundational info. So say like the new coach manual that we have, we could still send them that. But then she gets them in this group, and she's in there with them. But, they're kind of learning, encouraging, and coming together, as their own small little team. And I listened to Eric Worre's he was talking about sign a certain number of coaches in a month, like where you push really hard. But it was interesting because he was saying that when people come on together, like if there's a group and they connect, they're more apt to stay, in the business because they come together and they support one another and they kind of grow together and build those relationships. And I think that's so true. Like we had pretty much around the same time, Monica, there was another guy, Jordan, and I think Becky was kind of close, but the people who kind of have really gone quickly, they all came on together and kind of, it's like you spur one another on, and so I don't know, those are just some thoughts she had, and I thought those were really great because the funny thing was had kind of been thinking that with our team cup. So just some ideas to throw out there to you guys. She said that the best support is, hold on, let me make sure I got all the success pod. She said that also she does success pods for like new coaches and then like emerald to diamond and then 1 star above. So then you also have, like people who are around the same, growing. So that's something to think about. But yeah, just kind of the same thing. On her slide, she had the same thing that I just said. The more people they can connect with, the deeper their roots. Coaches learn from and rely on each other. And it's a great place to develop relationships and find success partners. So teach them to dream big and act small. Coaching is a marathon journey, not a sprint. Be upfront and help them expect roadblocks so they aren't surprised when they happen. And I think we've been talking about that a lot lately, especially with all the new with all the people kind of jumping off with the MLMs that are more sales, because they're quick money up front. But ours is definitely more of a marathon. It's not like a sprint. So just giving them those expectations that, giving them realistic expectations. Find reasons to recognize and empower your coaches every chance you get. Baby wins are big wins for new coaches. Build deep relationships, live Zoom calls, team get-togethers in person if you live by your team. I know in California, Jessica, Monica, and Vanessa are able to get together, which is awesome. Shayna, Monica, and I should do it more often. We're a little more
we should.
But even if there's other Beachbody coaches in your community, I still think that's a great way. I know Chelsea is now in Fayetteville, kind of close to Stacy, so that would be fun. I know she's talked about maybe doing a shake and share at her house, so maybe some of you guys who are there to, get together and connect with them on a normal person level, not always as their coach. Be also their friend and not just connect with them to ask, how the business is going. Okay. Team culture. She went back to team culture. Sorry, I'm going by her slides. Is your team culture where you want it to be? Team culture starts with you. Make a list of 5 coaches, if you have 5 coaches or more, that you haven't personally talked to recently and reach out to simply see how they are. And what can you do to create the vibe you want within your team page? Okay, so the other thing, just a couple of things she was saying she does is like she creates a calendar, which I've been trying to do, but I want to get better about putting other things on them, like a new coach call once a month. She also goes live every week in her team page. It's scheduled. So everybody knows when she's going live so people can jump on and ask questions or just, listen. And let's see, that's kind of all the same stuff. Just get an interest list with your personally sponsored coaches of what makes them them and love on them for who they are. So those are just some encouragements about coaching. But then we also, since it's only like 20 after, Have you guys heard about the new First 30, the new kind of new coach basics that was rolled out?
And
No?
I've heard of First 30, but is it new? A different one?
Yeah, it's kind of, they've changed it up a bit. So it's basically the concept is the first 30 hours you want to get people running. Like you don't want to say, okay, sign up and I'll get you in the team page in a couple of days and I'll get the email out to you. But when people are ready to go, they're ready to go. And we need to keep that excitement going and get them going. Kim Carver was talking and he was saying, it's kind of like the sprinter in the sprinting block, the longer they stay in that, the start position, the more their muscles kind of, fatigue. That's why they go up right before, so we have to be ready to just give them what they need to go. And so part of that is going to be us figuring out how we want to do that. And, we don't have to do it. You guys are all leaders. You have teams, some of you, so you can do it your own way, or we can come together and work, since we're still kind of a small team with Live to Give, and do it as a group. It's really up to you guys and what you want your team culture and how you want it to go for you. Sometimes coming together and doing it together, it can be a little bit easier because it takes I know for a long time Lindsay had different diamonds leading her training because then she wasn't running it every month, So the first 30, it's new in the back office. And let me see. A lot of it is the same. It's found in the coach training, so it's the same area. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there is still the training if you go in your back office under news and training, there's still the training the way it was, but they've just added things. They've actually changed the business quick start. So if you guys remember that, the business quick start looks a little different. It doesn't have all those links in it, but it tells you, it has, contact your coach and complete the 30 days coach action plan together. So it's get them started in the first 30 hours, and then the first 30 days are vital. I think that's what Kim said. So it's just little changes, but there's a lot of great stuff, and I would encourage you to go back and look through all of the tabs. Something really awesome that they just showed us that is new, and it's under the Emerald to Ruby tab. If you go to Emerald to Ruby and learn how, and we've been talking about Shakeology a lot. We heard Darren speak and how vital it is, and if you guys watched that video by Shay Stanford, how vital our products are to our business. So here under the Emerald to Ruby tab, if you go to 3 steps to share Shakeology, and there's this whole guide for new coaches, which is really awesome that they just created. So this can help new coaches get started sharing Shakeology, easy. I mean, we're trying to do that, hopefully teach that in our teams, especially starting more now. But it's a great just printout that they can have and, reference. And then, I was looking through this recently because I didn't really realize they went through and updated things. And there's a lot of great new information here. So when you get a chance, just go to the back office and play around. But there's the new First 30 Leader Guide. So I think it's going to take some time just looking through all this and figuring out, it's kind of the thing we've talked about is, especially in our Diamonds group, a lot about how do we get coaches started right? What's the best way? We've gone through so many different things. And I think, each coach has a different way to do it. And Beachbody has given us this information to try and be as effective as we can. But I think our personal connection with them and finding out, like, Micah was saying, their love language, how they learn, and keeping in contact with them, especially in the first month or so, is really vital, and honestly, Melanie Mitra was saying that she does set expectations, and that's not something I've been good at. And she asked them to do things like, go in and complete whatever, complete the first 30, I don't know, whatever, watch this video, and then I want to hear, and people earn their time with her because she's busy. And I think that's important too, is if someone's not going to take the time to go through and do these things, then it's gonna be hard, But where else was I going with that? I don't know. Sorry, guys. I lost my train of thought. Do you guys have any questions about this right now? Anybody? New stuff, lots to look at, lots to think about with new coaches. And, I did want to show you this too. Let me see. So, no, wrong thing. I have way too many windows open. Ashley Smith was a girl who talked at New Leader Conference. Last year, she was an attendee. This year, she ended up in the top 10.
Rude.
Yeah. She does have a 2-year-old at home, and she is pregnant. So it was pretty amazing and inspiring to hear her speak, but she gave us this, and I'm going to put it in our, file, but basically she calls it, instead of Power Hour, Empower Hour. And she gives this to her coaches every week, and it is pretty cool. You can print it out, but it has notes and ideas. I tried to do something like this like a year ago and it didn't work. But top goals for this week, monthly goals. It breaks it down into daily, and hold on. So it has like all of these actions you can check off, which I think is great, especially for new coaches, because I think there's so much information coming at them, they don't know what to do. So let me show you your week at a glance.
So pretty too.
So it has your vital behaviors, your daily affirmation, your posts where you can do your posts, and even keep track of, your meals. It has your friend requests, people you friend request, checked into challenge groups, team pages, all of that. Your Hey Girl messages, your invites, your follow-up list. So yeah, and then there's also an Instagram tracker too, if you guys do Instagram. I'm not sure where it is. It's, I think, at the bottom, but yeah, there it is. So track your Instagram interaction if you use Instagram. So I think it might be really helpful. And the other thing is if this is too much for someone, like some people might be like, that's too much, I don't want to keep track of that. We can honestly, you guys, always pull out the old BAT. I think that's important. And I think, honestly, we are going to need to start helping our coaches have the tools, tracking, doing, the things every day. And, the other thing that I've loved about these coaches, these top coaches we heard, Ashley, who went from, New Leaders Conference last year to top 10, Micah, Melanie, they all said, keep it simple. If you're doing your 4 vital behaviors, you're sharing your life. And when you share your life, share from your place of sharing to the person you want to reach. Not just posting a selfie like, I did my workout, but how did you feel? What did you do? Why might it have been a struggle? Share your ups and downs and share your life. Ashley said she basically does Facebook. That's pretty much it. She does some Instagram. And she said basically she uses Facebook as her journal. It's a journal to the world. So think of that when you're writing your posts, but keep it simple. I know some of you guys work, so it's hard to journal the whole day. Jessica's nodding, yes. But something that we can do is start scheduling posts. You know, just start brain dumping, you know, a notebook of ideas, because I'll get ideas all the time. Like I had one the other day in the kitchen for Shakeology, and I didn't stop it and write it down, and then I couldn't remember it. You know, it's like, doggone it. And then I really want to help give you guys the tools to make this easier this year. This academy I'm in is, we're getting ready to learn how to map out your social content for a month, social media content for a month, which I think could be helpful. I think new coaches, for me, you know, we have people, and I love it, that have been around, you know, like I hope we have a decent team culture. Like I feel like that's kind of it's something we have that's good here in Live to Give. And but I really want to start new coaches off with success, with getting those victories, with understanding that it is a process and it is, you know, a journey, but that they can do it, that anybody can do it, and that, you know, we're going to be there for them as a team the whole way. One other quick thing that I'm going to start doing, is I'm going to start requiring, I think the second month I have coaches, is they're going to lead free groups. We're going to all start leading. I think it's important that every month we should lead a free group. That is what I'm hearing over and over again. If we're sitting here and saying we don't have a cold, you know, how do we get out of our warm market and pull cold market people in? That's the way to do it, you know. That's all I'm hearing. And if you guys missed the wake-up call, the national wake-up call this week, it's about free groups. It's about how she's built. So listen to that and go back. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. She actually keeps one free group open, and it's based around her niche. So like postpartum. So start thinking about that. That might make it easier, instead of like 1 month do, you know, crock pot and 1 month budget. Make it so it works for you. Make it simple. But free groups, people want to come into your world. They want to learn from you. They want to know what's going on, why you're positive, how you're staying active, how you're doing what you're doing. But they want to trust you first, and they want to see, you know, kind of what's going on. You know, a lot of times, sometimes we get those people who are like, yep, sign me up. But more often than not, it's, you know, they want to sit back and watch for a while. And if you add value to their life, you know, they are going to be more apt to say, okay, I trust you. So, you know, I think that's probably a lot of information tonight. But like I said, I do even want to, like, I have a friend I met at New Leaders, and she's going to send me some of her challenge group and free group templates. We're going to share some stuff. So I'll have even stuff for new coaches to choose from, you know. So say they're scared to run a group, but I want them to run a free group. They'll have a template to do it, and encourage them to maybe team up with another new coach to do it together, at least to start. I know Allison and Chelsea are talking about doing a crockpot group. So that's really exciting. And, you know, so I just wanted to share about that, about the free group, because I feel like I've been hearing that so much lately, that that's where people are pulling people in from, you know. It's like because people then will share, they'll invite their friends. They don't feel like they're inviting them to a sales pitch. They're just inviting them to something fun, you know, and something that's worthwhile. So anybody have any thoughts or any questions, or what's worked for you guys with any of this stuff, new coach or free groups, or what's everybody thinking? Are you like, I don't know where to go? Well, I think the first thing is just keep it simple. And I think, you know, I'm going to really sit down and think about an easy onboarding process for new coaches. But I really do kind of feel like getting them in message success pods is going to be a good thing to try for a while. because I feel like the relationships they'll gain, it won't be another group added to their plate, where they'll have to keep up with those. They can see the messages come up. It's not like it gets lost in notifications somewhere. And, a lot of times coach basics and training is great, but sometimes what I found is most people quit after the first couple of days,
Yep.
So usually if you're in a message thread, you might see something, and it might go a couple of days, but most people feel the need to pop back in, they kind of feel drawn back in. So that's what I've noticed with this group, and I notice if someone's not saying something, someone else will ask how they're doing, so that's just kind of my thought process with that. I'm not sure exactly what the best way, and I'm open to you guys' suggestions, what the best way to work that as new coaches is. If it's giving assignments, if it's posting a post within, if it's each of the sponsor coaches doing a video every now and then, whatever it might be. So like I said, I'm open to your suggestions. I'm just kind of, mulling through everything. I got so much information when I was out there, and I'm trying to process it all and figure out what's best and what's most important right now. And I feel like definitely new coaches, because that's something I want to focus on this year is coaches. And they did say, and I was telling Shayna this yesterday, is that 80% of your business should be your business. 20% should be your coaches. So whereas I spent last year, I felt like worrying about everybody and trying to, pump everybody up and, control the team. I let my challengers and the part of the business that makes the business, my inviting, all of that slide. I focus more on everybody else. And of course, I want to focus on my people and love my people. But there's a time when you guys are all leaders and you have to also rise up and, be your own CEOs, have your own team. And we're all, but I was just kind of feeling like I needed to be a mama hen. And that's not always good, So now I'm kind of at a place where I've exhausted all of my avenues with people, and so I have to look for something more creative, and hopefully, prayerfully bring in some people who really love this business and love the products as much as I do and want to, work hard. So moving forward with all of us. But so there's a lot to process and work on, but I think I started Melanie Mitro's scheduling of the weeks, which was really good. And I can share that with you guys, how she makes her weekly schedule. And then the next thing I'm getting ready to work on is having a monthly plan, how she does that. Like every month she does a free group this week. Every month, she does coach training this week. She does, so it's like consistent, and you can see and start planning like, oh, summer's coming, so my free group,
Tell us about what you were saying, how she has more free time than we do, and she's a top coach.
She does. But so Melanie shared I don't have it on my computer, but she shared her calendar, and she's a planner big time. She still gets up at 5 on the weekends. But she doesn't work. Well, does she work on Sunday? I don't think she works on Sunday, but she has family time every day. And if she has to have a call like this one, she blocks it out and makes sure, her spouse and everybody knows. And she said, think about it for a minute. If you were that person, the one you loved, if you were with the person you love so much, whether that be your spouse, your parent, your child, whatever, who you spend a lot of time with, and they were constantly on their phone or on their computer checking, would you feel loved? And she's like, I had to get to a place where I scheduled business hours and I cut it off, and then my family got the best of me. And she works by a timer. She's like, I'll say I have 30 minutes for inviting, and I set the timer and I go. She's like, it focuses me. I don't scroll Facebook because I know I'm racing that timer, And so I thought that was really great. And I did that yesterday and I got like
Mhm.
12 invites done, which
Yeah.
doesn't normally happen.
Mm-mm.
So I think planning out, like she does, the top 3 things you need to get done in the day. And she sets personal business hours. So, and that's a lot more than team business hours. And then she has chunks within the week where they're team business. And that's where, say, she'll jump on and be available. You can sign up for a call with her, or she goes live in her team page, or she does coach training. But whatever it is, that's under the team category. But her personal category is much bigger. And the thing about her is she knows what she needs to do and she does it. And I think even just setting the timer was so mind-blowing for me, because it's like, it's pressure, kind of like the 12-week year, right, you guys? I mean, it's like, okay, that thing's going to go off and you better have your 5 invites done by the time it goes off. And she said, not every week is great, but if she has a day where she forgets her inviting, she says, well, my husband goes to bed and I sit down and invite before I go to bed. She's like, that's the way it is. But I think too, it was really cool to hear, she takes a day to refresh herself. And I think that is cool, because then you can push hard the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Like, I have Sunday to enjoy my family. I check in with my challenge group and I make posts of what we're doing, but I don't do any business on Sunday, other than that, which I think is great. I think, God rested, God took a day. We all should take a day, right? And that's something I honestly haven't been doing. And I've been the person who picks up my phone and, okay, I've got to take a picture of my dinner, those things. And I think if we can really try to be more focused in our business hours, it will be so much better,
Yeah. I totally agree. That was like one of my goals this year, is to condense my business hours to 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes or more in the afternoon, and then usually like a good block at night. But I have been setting a timer. And as you said, you get everything done. And I've actually been deleting. Oh man, I haven't done this week, I'm not gonna lie. But last week I delete Facebook and Messenger from my phone after my morning post. This is so ridiculous. This is how ridiculous I have to be to be good. But I delete it. And I don't necessarily even have it on ever, because you can get to Facebook from Safari,
Yeah.
But I delete it. That way, when I sit at my computer, I'm working and I'm efficient, and I'm not, nobody's texting me that much. Okay. So like, I have no reason to be on this during the day, except for all my selfies. And then I feel a separation. So then the business isn't like weighing me down, because it's separate. I did my work, and I do my 30 minutes in the morning so that I'm done with my vitals by the time we leave for the day. I'm done, so that it's not weighing me down all day. And I've been setting the timers too, and it's making a big difference in seeing it as something I get to do, as opposed to something that I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And being distracted with my family. Like, I feel more at liberty to read. I feel more all the things, because this thing isn't.
Right. I think that's key. Okay. I challenge everybody to set timers this week. Well, tomorrow's Friday. Next week, we're going to set time. You have to decide, though, how long you need to, depending on your invites that you want to. But I think.
Well, and then that's like in line with how we do Power Hour. And anytime that my coaches and I have done Power Hour, they've said they were more efficient, they got more done, because you had 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get your invites, and you're like,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, we can, we stop that. That's something we could talk about going back to it, or just say, I think people had just dropped off and weren't showing up, but just keep it simple, do your vitals every day, do your vitals every day. That's it. And if you want to take a day off, take a day off. I think, the thing I want for our team is, I want our team to work hard. I want our team to sacrifice, but I I think that's the thing. And I really felt it going to California, like seeing the company, it just inspired me to work hard, because hearing those stories, I literally cried all weekend. And you might not be a crier. That's fine. I know you guys, some of you guys aren't, but, the stories of corporate people who stood up there and told, like about their children and special needs, and how their kids were proud of them for doing, and how they've lost weight so they couldn't buckle a seatbelt on the airplane, and their health, and the things we're doing are important. They're changing lives. Being able to be there and see that, and like being at corporate where it's like Carl walks in and he writes awesome stuff on the walls, and they can go to the gym and work out anytime they want during the day. They don't have to get permission. There's a game room. They can get Shakeology and Performance anytime. There's fruit out. It is encouraged. People were so, it was just really amazing. And I want all of you guys to be able to go there and see the mission that we serve, because it is amazing. And I just feel like I want to work harder for that, and that was the other thing. Okay, so your mission statement, whatever it be, and I kind of like with this academy, my hook kind of in my new cover, kind of, that, but think of who you want to help. And then Ashley Smith was saying, she said, when you have that mission statement, you read it every day and you say, if you don't do your vitals, if you don't do your inviting, if you don't do the things you're supposed to do, you're saying that mission, those people you have to help are not that important. You going to bed is more important. You decide, that the mission we serve of helping people change their lives, live longer with their families, see these amazing things happen. We're saying it's not that important, and I'm saying that to myself, my, whatever, I want to shut the alarm off, so I think just think about that. Just really take to heart the mission that you guys have been entrusted with, because you're here for a reason. It's not by accident. And it is a super important mission. We have so many people out there who are in need. Even when I go out in public, you see it. There's horribly obese children and people, and it's sad. It's sad that there, no lack of people who need help. So any closing thoughts, you guys? I know it's 8:45 my time. Some of it. Anybody? Everybody ready to do their vitals and set the timer next week? Mm-hmm. Okay. I really want this year to be amazing. I feel like this year I just have a deeper sense of purpose, and really the people we're going to help. I'm not worried about rank. I'm not worried about those things. I'm really just worried about the people. I know my view got a little skewed last year with all of the noise, but I'm just ready to go forward and make sacrifices and really, help some people. So I am so grateful you guys are with me. So grateful you're a part of this team, because I know you could be a part of any other team. So if you guys don't have anything else, I'll let you guys go be with your families and let us know how the next week goes. Super grateful for you guys. And I know you guys work hard every day, and I know for me, I just need to work harder. So I know I do, but I'm working on it every day. I'm learning how to be better. And so I'm going to pay that forward to you guys as much as I can, with all I'm learning with this academy, with all I've learned with New Leaders Conference, and hopefully help you guys to dream bigger, because you can be there and you can be at Leader Conference and you can do anything you want to do. So, all righty, guys. Well, have a great night. I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.